Now, if you're ready, we will begin.
Welcome to the Marla and Dave radio show. This is reality radio with a couple that keeps it real. Current events, pop culture, music, relationships, fitness, the hot topics of the day. Marla and Dave Thomas. This is the Marla and Dave radio show. Real radio.
Turn up! I have to say it because, you know,
it's pretty
what
good.
your issues
It's pretty
are.
good. You have to break my eardrums. That's what
in
you're
there.
trying to do. Anyway, hello. Welcome to the Marla and Dave show.
Okay. Here's my official announcement.
Okay.
My name is Marla, and his name is Dave. Just in case you were
Versus
thinking about
me
stepping
being
into
Marla
my...
and
I'm
you
just
being
saying.
Dave. Yeah.
You've tried to take over my vagina. You claim things that don't belong to you from time to time. I'm just trying to keep it real.
It wasn't me. It was God.
Okay, you're going to throw the Bible at it now?
He told me the vagina was mine. So.
Okay.
I don't argue. I tend not to argue in that department. So, you know, I just say, okay.
Tony,
you
don't
insist.
even laugh at him. Yeah,
Anyway.
just don't. Anyway, welcome to the MaD. Clearly, we have gone mad. You know what, Dave? In our intro, it says something about a couple that keeps it real. Can I keep it ultimately real?
Yeah, you just came from the toilet.
I need a pillow, guys.
Yeah.
The thing about it is, I feel great
Yeah.
and I feel clear, but I feel tender. That's a good way for me to put that. I feel a little tender. But that's okay because we're going to get some answers today, and I'm going to find out how we can feel a little less tender. Dave, you might not want to discuss your tenderness.
Well, I
your,
call it,
your
when I go to the
fleshy area.
bathroom now, I say, instead of saying I need to, go take a dump or doo-doo or something like that, I say I need to go squirt.
Okay, Dave.
That's what I actually say. Now,
We-
the
we
reason
have
why
got-
we're saying this is our guest today is
None other than Aaron Bullock.
yes, a naturopathic, I would say doctor, but traditional naturopath. And he has created an ultimate detox system called the Restart Detox. And that's what we are doing. We've been doing it for about a week now.
Yes, and we're here to talk about it today because in my conversation, I invited Aaron. We're honored to have him here because in our conversation about the detox, before I would actually do the detox, he had so much information that was just mind-splitting to me. And I'm always searching for information that he left me no other choice. I had to say, Aaron, please come on our show and share it with our audience, the things that you
Absolutely.
share with us. And so we're honored to have him. Wow. This has gone really mad. You know what? This is the first time, I said this the other day on my Facebook Live. You might hear anything today. If you thought I didn't have a filter before, holy cajoli, majoli, majoles. I'm just out here, Dave.
I'm actually amazed. I found out this week something very strange, Marla. You might want to hear this. You are actually my reason why.
Me?
Yeah, I've been saying that all along.
Dave,
we were doing the whole
please don't.
Visalis thing before, but really, I probably would not be as faithful on my detox if you weren't doing it with me. It's a fact.
Oh, I'm your reason why for detox. I was going to say not for life because remember that whole God vagina thing? That's God and you should have the whole...
No,
He's
he told me. That's God telling me you're my reason why. Anyway, so...
That's a horrible connection. But anyway, that's good. It's interesting that you should say that as we talk about our week in review. I've been going on every day and giving a Restart Detox report. And I keep reminding everybody, which is interesting, that yesterday was proof to me as to why I'm doing what I'm doing. I went to Monisa's house. And, kudos to Monique. She's turned out to be quite a little cook. And she learned a lot of stuff that, just by watching and being around. But she did a feast yesterday. There was barbecue. There was steak. First of all, I will kill a cow with a wet wipe and eat it if I could. Just bite into its side.
Killing it with the wet wipe is actually the feat.
I will clean it. I'm sorry. I just take a swipe on its side. And then I'll just bite into it. That's how much I love a really good steak. Monique smoked steak, chicken, barbecue. She had fresh greens. She made fresh macaroni and cheese. And then my grandson had the nerve, well, he didn't know, but didn't matter, to push his plate over and say, Michi, can you cut my steak? And I was like, sure, Cam. I'll cut that up for you. But in reality, it's another reason why you realize that the things that you do, you have to do for you. If you're changing or you're getting into a process based on pleasing someone else, odds are your change is not going to be lasting.
That's
so
true.
I can last on a detox because I'm so looking forward to the benefits for my body that it keeps me completely in line with myself. I have zero temptation with that.
Well, for me, this was a hectic weekend. We were on the detox. I went from mixing a new artist, Anyuhea, 2 songs that I produced for her in the studio all night, to getting on a plane, crack of dawn, and flying to Huntsville, landing, getting about 5 hours of sleep, getting up, hanging out with my dad for his birthday, and then I had to go to the funeral for Claude's mom, and that's a very sad thing.
Yeah,
but it's a great program. A lot of music.
Her going away ceremony, her celebration, they celebrated her life.
It was a great celebration. Kudos to the Willis McKnight family. But all this time on the plane and everything else, I'm no food.
Dave, you should have just worn a Depend.
I'm walking through the airport, and if for anyone who's done a detox or a cleanse, the longer you stay on, your senses just get heightened. So I'm smelling McDonald's and Popeye's chicken and every food vendor a mile away. I'm landing like, what's that?
That's terrible.
And I'm like, oh man.
I was like,
You know what I mean? McDonald's has
why
a
do you know
fried
that?
oil smell. By the way, Aaron.
That's hilarious.
And the voice you're hearing was Aaron Bullock. He's our guest today. He's a naturopath who has created the Restart Detox. You can get that at www.restartdetox.com.
But we're going to get into all of that. Anything else music-wise for you?
I'm about to start working with Joshua Ledette
All right.
this week.
Good.
There's gonna be some great music.
When you look at your music calendar, your schedule, is there when you turn it over on the back, is there a place that's going to finish my song, Free to Be Me? Is it?
Your
is
song's
it
finished.
No,
It's
my
written.
song is
Now,
not
it's not
finished.
produced.
You're the producer.
You just got to get in there and keep singing.
Tony, I got to beg to be a 7th member of the group.
You just got to keep singing. Anyway, Tony, before we get to the great discussion that we're about to have for the show today, hit me with my mood song. The shirt used to be skin tight.
That's just, you are so pitiful that it's just. Remember, Tony, at one point we were doing something fitness-wise, and I said, why do you act like that I'm just abusing you? You're being starved. And he said, help me.
Yeah.
So we have to get into that. We're going to get into that when we get into the show about, your ability to be able to, your own will with it, which is interesting. That's an interesting discussion for me, but we'll discuss that a little bit later.
Good.
I'm going to play my mood song, Tony, if you don't mind.
There's a hope that's waiting for you in the dark. You should know you're beautiful just the way you are. And you don't have to change a thing. The world could change, it's hard. No scars, say you're beautiful. We're stars and we're beautiful.
Now, the thing about that is, it's not really about being hungry. You're so literal that it actually makes me laugh.
I do it every week. You just don't notice. That's my thing.
I understand. I am just in a little music love relationship right now with Alicia Cara. I like her. It's fresh. It's fresh, and I really like her lyrics. And it's music.
Refreshing. Her lyrics are refreshing.
Her
in this day and age.
Her lyrics are refreshing, but I think the music is also a fresh look in the music scene.
Indeed.
That's been
all
popular.
that.
So.
All that.
Yeah, so that song to me is really all about when I think about starting over, and I think about getting to a point where you can bring yourself back into self-acceptance. And at the core of who you are, there is beauty, in my opinion, in everybody. So, like, I'm a person who loves to make eye contact because I just feel like that there's a story. Stop it. There's a story.
Especially when
Tony's
you toast,
acting
right?
up
Especially
today.
when you're toasting.
Well, Dave, yeah, you're out of control, though, with the whole thing. He's like,
Got to look in the eye.
yeah. So that's something that we will that I really just wanted to focus on today, because this last week Des kicked off 3 parts for me of resetting and restarting your life. So there's, we're mind, body, spirit, and I believe that there's emotional reset, and there's physical reset, there's body reset, and that's what we're going to stop today and talk with our guest, Aaron, about doing just that. And Dave, tennis? You want to go out on your tennis thing?
No, we'll talk about tennis a little bit later. Let's get on with the news, please, Tony.
You're listening to the Marla and Dave radio show on the Universal Broadcast Network. Current events, pop culture, the hot topics of the day. It's time for MaD News on the Marla and Dave radio show. Ladies and gentlemen, Marla and Dave.
All right, the first news story today is quite shocking, even though it seems pretty relevant and
it seems stupid.
appropriate,
And it's
apropos to me because,
Oh,
when you're
gosh.
doing homework with my grandson, I'm doing homework. He's got like at least 30 pages of homework.
Dave,
And
you're not
he's in,
agreeing with this, I know.
but I can understand where she's coming from. Anyway, this mom, her daughter's name was Maya, and she writes this to her daughter's teachers. Hello, Maya's teachers. Maya will be drastically reducing the amount of homework she does this year. She's been very stressed and, hold on, let me see. She's been very stressed and starting to have physical symptoms such as chest pains and waking up at 4 a.m. worrying about her school workload. She's not behind academically and very much enjoys school. We've consulted with a tutor and a therapist suggested we lighten her workload. Essentially, she will not be doing any more homework. Really?
Okay, so you need to find a school, Mom, that is appropriate for the learning style or homeschooler. Because to me, there's also something about the establishment. I'm not going to rewrite the news. I mean, I think that this kind of speaks to where we are in society with just a general, there's a respect issue that I believe is just that we can't figure out where you want to go that matches what you're trying to accomplish instead of changing the whole situation to match you. That's all I'm gonna say to that. That's it.
All right. What's the next one, Marla?
So Johnny Depp, if you guys don't know, Johnny Depp is saying that his ex-managers neglected to deal with him appropriately with his finances. And as far as I'm reading, from what I understood, I think there's a $35 million discrepancy. Is it something like that?
That's what he's saying. He's saying that he's broke and his managers actually mishandled his money.
Except his managers are saying, take me to court, because in reality, you're such an extravagant spender that we haven't mismanaged anything.
Yeah.
You're just a bonehead.
He's actually taking them to court and seeking $25 million in damages.
You know what's so funny? And part of it had to do with taxes. And I hate to take this to this level, but I'm looking at it going, let's see if he gets the same treatment Wesley Snipes got.
Yeah. Let's see if he
Let's
gets
see
that.
if he gets the Wesley Snipes. Are they going to snipe him or what?
Man, little spooky. Well, the next story is about, and this is kind of sticky for me. So, a mother says she had 4 boys until one of them told her she was a girl. That's not out of the ordinary these days.
I think it is kind of young to actually say I'm a girl. I mean, you can see behaviors, but
the mother then allows the son to transition to becoming a girl at 4 years old.
let me read this, Dave, because was it transgender? Did they actually go through like a?
I think they allowed them to transition into becoming a girl, from a boy to a girl.
Yeah.
So the thing for me is, please don't think that I'm coming down against transgendered people, but at 4 years old is a little early, I think, at least for me, to make that decision. I mean, that's a pretty strong life decision to be made at 4 years old. Matter of fact, there are people now saying that it's even uncool to just indoctrinate your children to specific religions until they get to be an age where they can choose for themselves.
And this
but
mother
to actually
go ahead.
choose their sex for them is a little
Right. I think that that's touchy because kids at that age say a lot of things. I think that can you really be convicted for one thing or another that strongly at 4 is my question. So, I think that I would wait until there was more of an age of accountability to do any kind of assisting. 4 years old is pretty young. Because, that's like somebody saying, I like to play with dolls. And you all of a sudden, you're at 4 where everything is kind of both ways. They're just kind of figuring life out. I mean, barely.
Well, I'm shocked that you actually agree with me. Usually you don't agree with me on those types of things, but at least, I have a hard time with that. I mean, that's kind of young.
That's
I'll be
why,
honest
though,
with you.
because I mean, that's where we agree. Where you and I agree is that I do absolutely believe that you're born into pretty much who you are. Your sexual preferences are in you, but I don't think that I would, as a parent, foster or encourage you in one total direction at 4 years old. It's just too young for me.
Indeed. That's the MaD News. We have a great show for you with our guest, Aaron Bullock, and the Restart Detox. Phone number is 323-524-2599. We'll be right back.
This ain't your mama's radio show. Can you handle the truth? Then get ready for a real radio experience. Ladies and gentlemen, Marla and Dave.
I'm laughing right off the bat. Aaron, you've been here, but we want to officially welcome you to our show. Welcome to the MaD House.
I'm very, very happy to be here. Thank you.
We're honored to have you. I'm laughing because, and by the way, everybody who's tuning in on all our different social platforms, welcome to the Marla and Dave Show. If you're tuning in on Periscope, UBN Radio TV, welcome. If you're on our Facebook, welcome.
And
if
now
you're in the
there's a
chat
new
room,
place.
and you can also now get a live stream from the Marla and Dave show page on Facebook.
Absolutely.
But why would you want to go to two Facebooks? Maybe. Oh, that makes sense, though, because people who, there you go. Tony, you are just wise. Cover the gamut, don't you? Ed Gaines on Facebook on the chat room says, doo-doo talk. Yes, Ed, we had
Kind
doo-doo
of
talk.
like.
Yeah, we were talking shit. We were.
Literally. Literally.
So, Aaron.
Yes.
Welcome. We don't know whether to. We know we want to thank you. We want to thank you.
Thank me in a week.
But right now, I don't know. Everybody's thinking earlier. Several people on one of my feeds, they were very interested. They're like, "We're gonna lock this man in a room with Marla on a detox. That might be a scare." They're afraid for you, Aaron.
It's okay. I'm fast.
You think you can get out of that?
I can get out of it. yeah.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about I've been talking a lot about the actual Restart Detox,
Mm-hmm.
but right now I kind of want to talk to you about you and
Okay.
your journey.
All right.
So Dave mentioned you being a naturopath.
I am.
Okay, so tell us a little bit. What does that even mean?
Basically means I'm a witch doctor.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. That's not
Okay,
really-
Dave.
Yeah, that was uncool. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Tony, we've never had to turn a host mic off. I think his mic might need you. Put your finger on that button. So tell us seriously what.
So I am a certified traditional naturopath.
Okay.
And basically what that means is I'm a healthcare practitioner that focuses on using natural medicines. And that includes food, but natural medicines, medicine from the planet.
Right.
Would
to
that
help
be
people.
herbs or just all the above?
It's all the above, right?
Okay.
But to help people help their bodies do what it's designed to do, which
Right.
is to get them and keep them healthy.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
So it's a healthy route to recover people's wellness.
Yeah, I mean, we call it alternative medicine now we call it alternative medicine, but it was the first medicine, right? Like
Right.
being a naturopath was the first line.
So
of
is
doctor.
that the same as like Eastern? Would you say is there a difference between Eastern and Western?
It's usually that versus Western medicine.
Right.
I don't think they refer to it as Eastern medicine.
I mean, they do call
they?
it Eastern medicine, but I mean, if you consider the fact that there's South American medicine,
Right.
right? Like there's
Right.
African medicine, like there's medicine from all over the world
Right.
that lives in the cultures of indigenous folks.
Yeah.
That is now considered alternative or even Eastern medicine. I mean,
Well, I guess with Donald Trump as the president, that's almost you're in vogue now.
Yeah, there's
Alternative facts, alternative medicine. That's probably his
all
his
kinds
health
of
plan.
People need other medicine.
Right.
I'm not even gonna put that on you. I'm not even gonna put that on.
That's funny. His health plan,
Yeah.
hysterical. So tell me though, how did you find this? You clearly didn't start this as a little boy. You had other things happen in your life, and then what was the initiation of you getting into being a naturopath?
From a young child, from the age of probably 3 or 4, I think my father decided I was going to be an attorney. My father is an attorney. And before I graduated college, I had an aunt see me on an elevator and make sure that I came to work in the music industry, like a good majority of our family does. And I worked in entertainment for years. But along the line, along that pathway, I was always helping people with, their health. People would come to me because I was curious about it, right? I was always looking at it. I was always looking to find out what things I could do that weren't
Traditional.
Pharmaceutical, I'm also a martial artist. And the group that I have studied with since I was a young person is very natural. And that was another part of sort of that indoctrination.
What's your actual, do you have what is your I don't know.
Discipline?
Yeah, your discipline in martial arts.
So the base is Jeet Kune Do, and the specialties are Kali and Eskrima, Muay Thai, and Bondo.
And so what would be what's the center of that? Is it, because, when I think of martial arts, I don't think so much of fight tactics as I do a discipline, like a really deep discipline. Like that, to me, that's the difference between, of course you learn different skills, but all I come to terms with is like the discipline. Maybe because I watch too much Karate Kid. It could be true. Wax on, wax off.
It's true.
That could be in my brain.
That's what it is. Listen, the discipline behind the fight arts for us anyway, is to become disciplined enough and talented enough that you will never have to fight. The fight is done.
How's that possible?
You are very confident in what you can do, and you can generally relate
Project that confidence
to someone else. It's not just the confidence, but the conversation. So if someone came up to me and they wanted to fight me, chances are I can convince them it's not something they want to do.
Yeah, not me, buddy. You see that guy over there? Yeah, you might want to. Yeah, you.
Let me buy you a beer and then you can go.
Yeah, just go ahead, fill up, and then go mess with him. Yeah. So so back to that. So that became also part of your path.
It was a big piece of it, yeah.
Now, did you actually, when you say big piece, did you start exploring some of the herbal medications as part of the alternative medication pathway during that time period?
So one of the things that we would do as a group, we would fast, for instance, but we wouldn't fast in the way that we wouldn't just do starvation fast. We would do fasts that included herbal medicines, and very specific herbal medicines. And we talked a lot about that as a group. And we talk about the concept of health being not just physical, but also spiritual and mental as well.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
And so is that before you went to school to become the traditional naturopath?
That's before. So I worked in entertainment for a good long time and had a great time before I got to a point that I felt like I really wanted to explore other avenues of development. So I was always kind of a development person anyway. So I developed music, and then I developed film and TV. And I was always seemingly developing people or helping people to develop themselves as well. So I started studying, now we call it coaching. And I started studying herbal medicine. Really taking
simultaneously.
The herbal medicine really kind of came first, but the coaching was always a part of it, so I formalized that.
So basically, like we were saying, now you've went into actual health mode with mind, body, and spirit.
Absolutely,
all three. So you could actually address all three aspects of what a person would need to come to their best self.
My core company is called the Mind Body Group.
See there, the Mind Body Group. Tony, he might be able to help you. You might get some help today, Tony.
Call me Tony.
So now so that leads into the term evolution healthcare. You came up with that term. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So evolution. So I had a facility on Robertson next to this. Cedars-Sinai has a satellite office on Robertson. And interestingly, there are a lot of oncologists in that building. What I was doing was offering alternative medicine. So we had acupuncturists, we had herbalists, we had massage therapists, we had herbs for sale. We had all kinds of things going on in there. And we were getting a bunch of patients coming in who were really, really sick. Many of them had various forms of cancer. We had AIDS and AIDS HIV patients coming in. We had a couple of folks that had Crohn's disease. And interestingly, what they were looking for, most of them were looking for some kind of relief because they were not feeling good and they were trying to figure out what they could do beyond the medicine, which was supposed to be there to help them. And what we found is the medicines, most of the medicines they were taking were really liver and kidney toxic. And, you know, I mean, what we say, at least in what I do, is it's oftentimes the medicines that kill you before the disease does.
Which we, for those of you who are watching as well, I think I mentioned this in a private conversation that the young lady Tawny, who was also on our show, that's has been diagnosed with fibrolamellar liver cancer. She said the exact same thing.
Yeah.
That the medicine she felt like that the medicine itself was actually killing her.
Now,
go ahead.
I need to say this because there are a bunch of naturopaths and people people who are natural medicine folks who want nothing to do with Western medicine. I'm not that guy. I feel like they go hand in hand, right? Like there are areas where Western medicine is the exact right thing to do. And there are places where pharmacology or pharmaceuticals are the exact right thing to take. That's just not always the case. And oftentimes you can go to natural medicine first and solve your problem. You know, if you break your arm, don't come see me. Like, I'm not going to be able to help you.
You're not going to put some kind of special root
No.
on that.
No.
You're not going to tell you to chew up a root.
Pulse that's around your arm and tell you to be okay in a week.
We have a lot of conversation going on in the chat room, including Mark Kibble, who's in here and said that he basically himself tries to do the herbal route mostly. So, yeah, that's one of the guys who sings with Dave, which
awesome.
I'm sure you know.
Indeed.
Being a music man as well. But, yeah, so and my mom's in here saying some stuff. Anyway, Mimi, pipe down.
Wow.
I
dismiss Mimi.
I had to dismiss Mimi because the thread is going so quickly that, and you know me, and I'm like, okay, so whatever she said is gone. Oh, come back, Mimi.
You guys hanging out in the chat room, remember the number to call is 323-524-2599. Talk to us. Ask Aaron a question directly.
Yeah, if and that's kind of the thing, which is the reason that we, everybody seems they're busy in here. But if there's something that's specific, because I've had all kind of questions about the detox because we are doing the detox. People ask me questions every single solitary time I'm online.
Right.
So I always say, the best place to get the best information is right from the horse.
Well,
I hate to have to call you a horse,
here's
but
a question
the horse's mouth.
Here's a question that I have for you, Aaron.
Close.
Aaron, you said you were right next to a traditional Western medical facility with your alternative medical facility. Was there any pushback from the traditional doctors to what it is that you guys were doing?
No, it's interesting because, we'd have the doctors come over for a couple of reasons. Number one, what I was saying is we were getting people coming in. We were seeing what was going on with them. And, after some time, it started making sense. So I developed some things that I thought would help. And these people started getting better. They started feeling better. And they would go back and report this to the doctors. And most of these people, because they were so sick, were being regularly tested. So their physicians would come and visit.
So you almost had a laboratory situation set up where you can actually put your herbs together.
Absolutely.
And other, I guess, was it just herbs or was it other things?
It was primarily herbs. I mean, so there are a combination of things. You don't want to just do herbs. You want to do herbs. You want to do food. You want to do proper exercise. Acupuncture. I know a lot of people don't believe in it, but when they try it, they tend to start believing in it. Massage therapy, but not just, not the
typical just
shit
like
on massage envy, but actual massage.
Right.
Like, so when you're having somebody go in and really manipulate your fascia and separate and give space to that, really important. So there's
I have to give a shout out to Shelby, who's a miracle guy with his hands. He's the only person that I've ever met, to the point that to speak to the massage, he was ending my first massage and said, he's on the opposite side of my body, and I've said
macaroni
nothing.
And cheese for dinner.
No, stop it.
You cheated on your detox.
And I felt, he said, he was working on some other place and said you're probably going to feel burning on the other side, and I'm like, wait, what? Like, he just was gifted. He is a gifted.
Right.
He's gifted. He's not just like Aaron is saying.
Yeah.
It's not just Swedish just kind of rub on you. It's real. It's real.
There's a place for that, but not in medicine.
Yeah,
so go ahead.
There are a few places for that.
You missed your own calling, for the record.
What?
You should have either been a gynecologist or
Nah.
something that will allow you
that
to.
would have just been not right.
Yeah, that you needed to.
That wouldn't have been right.
That would be
many
like
questions.
God giving you. That would be like
just not
God,
be
the
right.
Israelites when they wanted manna, and they were tired of manna, and He sent them quail. That would make you nice and sick of it. You'd be vagina done then. But
Could be.
sidebar. Sorry, we're back, Aaron.
Well, so earlier, someone wrote in on Marla's Facebook when we were doing promotion for the show and was really just poo-pooing on cleanses and detoxes.
Yeah.
And that's why when I actually did one of my promotions, I said, "Is it a hoax?" Because I want you to address that, because there's a lot of stuff online that says cleanses and detoxes. Specifically, detoxes are for people who have had
Severe addictions like drugs and alcohol. They're trying to break from some type of chemical
the
hold.
actual definition, I guess, is what he's bringing up.
So I'm one of the people that poo-poos a lot of the cleanses and detoxes that people do. And the guy that wrote that all things being equal, he's right to a certain degree. There are detoxes clearly for people who have addictions, and there are detoxes for people who have heavy metals in their bodies. There are detoxes for that. And there's a place for it. Makes sense. He's right. But there are also detoxes when you're doing a real detox, a true detox, that is good and important. Just to clean the body, just to dump some of the stuff that's in your body out of it, to clean some of that out, and also to give your body some of the things that we don't get in everyday life. Just because we're kind of we're a deficient culture in a lot of ways. The food that we get is not the highest grade foods. Most of the food doesn't have the mineral content that it would have had if it were a different era. So putting that stuff back in, giving a moment to put that stuff back in and help your body heal is important. And that is, for me, a really good detox and cleanse.
Okay, good. We have a caller on the line. Caller, go ahead. You're on with Marla and Dave and Aaron Bullock.
Hi, Marla and Dave.
Hey,
what's up?
What's your name and where you calling
Hey,
from?
what's going on? My name is Kim Stinson. I'm calling from Apple Valley, California, up in
Awesome.
the high desert. This is the first time I've seen you guys' show. I really like it.
That's
Oh,
what's up.
thanks,
Thank
Kim.
you.
Do you like me better than Dave? It's super important for me right now.
Now, hey, Dave is so funny and laid back, man. He is so cool.
He's whatever.
So are you, but Dave is he one funny cat, man.
There you go.
He laid
I try
back and he
to
come with
tell
these
her I'm
little-
all the
these
damn
little
fun.
Quick answers. He's funny.
Well, do you have a question for Aaron today or a comment?
Yeah, I would like to ask Aaron, it seems like everybody trying to eat healthy now and trying to lose weight and exercise. I would just like to know what's best to, like, clean your colon out. And as you were just saying in the conversation earlier about just getting your whole body, like, cleansed out, because I'm 56 years old and I don't exercise a lot, and I do like to eat, like pork chops and fat meat in my greens and
You
all
like to
that. I don't
enjoy
like
your
to
life.
smoke turkey and all that, but I really need to clean my body out, son.
Right. Listen, it's a good idea to find a good colon or full intestinal detox is what you really want. You want something that's going to go in there and help move that stuff out. Another thing that I tell men, everybody should do it, but men over 35, let's say, should start thinking about doing at least once or twice a year colon hydrotherapy, which is basically like, if I'm from the South, man, and so we used to get enemas when we were kids, right? So this is basically like a power enema. It is a phenomenal thing to do. A lot of guys are afraid to do it for, really obvious reasons, but it is something that will be helpful for you.
Well, I have a question for Aaron. He can answer when we come back. If Dave gets used to the power enema, ultimately, will he let me search for his prostate gland? We'll be back right after this break.
Hey guys, listen up. Learn something. 26 years of marriage from two unique perspectives equals 52 years of relationship experience.
Excuse me, that's 58 years? Oops, I made a boo-boo.
It's time for Ask Marla and Dave. Answers to your questions about life, love, and relationship based on Marla and Dave's real-life experience. It's about to get real. Ask Marla and Dave.
Well, that was a good one, Marla. She caught me off guard right as we were going to break. Couldn't have a comeback because now it's time for Ask Marla and Dave, the segment where you kind of go past all of the show and get your question answered right on air because you've gone to www.marlandave.com, clicked on the Ask Marla and Dave tab, and submitted your question. The question for today is...
I can't believe that I'm writing this, but here goes. I'm a single woman who has been in a relationship with a married man for more than 3 years. When I met him, he was separated, but shortly after went back to his wife and kids, who are 19, 16, and 12. By the way, whoever wrote this, I'm glad for the detail because everybody always wants more information. His wife and kids who are 19, 16, and 12, but still professes his love and dedication to me and spends the time to back that up. Over the past year, I have grown increasingly impatient with his promises to leave and start a monogamous life with me. Falling in love with a married man wasn't my plan, but it happened. The only people that I feel for in our situation are the kids. My question is this: should I hang on and wait for the kids to be grown to give him an ultimatum, or should I do it now? Signed, Homewrecker. Now, she didn't sign it that. No one does sign their thing. I assign. And
Marla called you a homewrecker.
I sure did. Well, the reason is because if you have enough consciousness, I'm just going to blast this all the way out. I hate to be the smack you in the face person, but if you have enough consciousness to actually go there and recognize that it's the kids. You're not talking about 3 adults making an adult decision. These kids are going to be impacted, and he went back to his family. See, that too is interesting. He went back to his family for whatever his reasons are. So
are you saying get the hint?
What I'm saying is, on top of that, I almost want to smack you and say, how dare you for the ultimatum?
Well, I'll put it to you like this. Marla's giving you the hard truth, and I absolutely agree with her. Now I'm going to actually kind of heal you up a little bit and say, remember this, once a second fiddle, always a second fiddle in that relationship. So
I disagree with that.
I don't know. If he has a habit of just taking you for granted,
you're assuming a lot.
Keeping you on the side, trust me.
Nobody said anything about a habit. It could just be she was the one.
It's a habit. That's what she said.
What?
She's second fiddle for years.
That's not. But
anyway, this is Dave speaking now. So that's the first piece of advice.
Okay.
And if he was messing around with you, your hopes of having a monogamous relationship, I think you should think twice.
Assuming,
yeah, I am assuming. I am assuming, but I'm not the ass here. You know, your mom says, assume you make an ass out of you and me. And I'm not the ass here, homewrecker. So I'm trying to give you a piece of advice. I would actually get myself together and work on yourself. It's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So the answer to the ultimatum in my book is you're out of your monkey ass mind. To ask for an ultimatum is insane.
That's Ask Marla and Dave. Remember, www.marlandave.com. Click on the Ask Marla and Dave tab.
We're just so hungry.
Back to the show.
Welcome back to the Marla and Dave radio show. Marla and Dave want to talk to you. Phone lines are open at 323-284-7826. 323-284-7826.
Mr. Edit
That
man.
number is actually 323-524-2599. I forgot to tell Tony that I actually changed that color piece and corrected that, but
it doesn't matter. We have a caller on the line. Caller, you're on the Marla and Dave show. You're in the Madhouse with Marla, Dave, and Aaron. How can we help you? Hello?
Caller, you there?
Did they hang up, Tony? They're just quiet.
They're probably listening to the show.
No. Let's listen to them. Listen to us.
Okay, no.
No.
Anyway, caller, we're
really
going to give you 5 more seconds, and then we're going to have to move on.
Let's ask our
guests. We want to get to you.
Aaron, do you want to just quietly listen to them? Listen to us?
It might be homewrecker.
Putting the trace on the line. I'm going to find you, Mo.
They're still on? Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
right.
so yeah, you don't have to answer the question about his prostate. That was where I left off. Don't think I was going to forget, Dave.
So, Marla, Marla's always trying to go there on air. She's
Because
trying to go
the
there.
bottom line
She
is
thinks it's funny.
because I think that there should be some equality, Aaron. I feel
I
like
might need you to
everybody.
lotion my
Okay. Yeah,
that
I'm
area
not.
right now because I've been drinking so much cayenne pepper.
I'm
I'm
not a naturopath, so won't be dealing with your. So
neither will most of them naturopaths.
he'll give you the stuff that comes out of it, but that's about as far as it goes. We have plenty of conversation and questions in the chat room. I know that. Sorry, Jackie. I don't know what's happening with my computer because I could scroll this, but your question's gone. So,
well, I have as you look that up, Marla, I have another question for Aaron specifically. So, why do you think that natural and alternative medicine gets such a bad rep sometimes? Because it's almost as if, so my dad was doing chemo, never in radiation treatments and chemo. Hasn't been right since, really.
Right.
Just kind of zapped him of his energy. And to do so, they were taking away, specifically limiting his testosterone. I mean, he just hasn't been right since. He's
Really powerful
he's
meds.
slowly coming back. But it's so slow. And at that age, when you're older in life, it's almost like, why?
Right. I mean, we're very much indoctrinated to Western medicine here in the United States. If you were in Germany, things are very different over there. People go to naturopaths in different parts of the world regularly. It's just a course of life. Here, we're just taught to do things differently. I mean, the medical profession makes a lot of money, and I mean, we're that country. We're focused on that.
that's a fact. Because if you really think about it, if somebody told you that weed would fix all your issues and you could just grow it in your backyard, then everything else in the world that people are making money from would just collapse. Just think
Until the
about it.
government can make it illegal, and then they sell weed.
Ibogaine is a great example of that. There's a substance called ibogaine from a plant called iboga that grows in West Africa.
Are you saying
is
ibogaine?
Ibogaine, yeah.
Ibogaine.
So it's very effective at clearing opiate addiction,
Wow.
and you can technically grow it in your backyard.
I've heard of this.
It's a Schedule 1. It's as high. It's just under marijuana on the Schedule 1 list as extremely harmful. No one, of course, has ever died from it, as far as I know. But you can go to Canada and you go to Mexico and you can go to other places in the world. You can do this course and help to kick your heroin addiction.
Okay, somebody else was on it. I spoke with the lady at one point in the airport in Vegas, and she was coming to L.A. to smoke a toad.
No, to lick a toad.
Smoke the toad.
Okay.
Okay, and I asked her the process. She's going to be with a shaman. The shaman dries the gland of the toad out. I guess there's poisons in that or whatever. And it was because her daughter's a heroin addict, and she was trying to similar stuff. Like she was trying to completely. I don't know what she was doing.
I'm not smoking toads, so.
Yeah, me too. Neither.
Okay, Dave, you just wanted to lick it. You said lick the toad before I
did
mentioned
not
smoking
say
the toad.
I wanted to lick the toad.
Sorry, I'm hungry.
You're just putting words in my mouth.
Is this the liver line? Line
So with the detox,
Yes.
we talked about the detox that and why they get a bad rap. So
Mm-hmm.
what is the bad rap about? Like, can a detox done wrong with the wrong direction? Can it hurt you?
100%. So, Master Cleanse. Most of us are familiar with the
Right.
Stanley Burroughs Master Cleanse. I mean, most people don't know that he was indicted for manslaughter using his methods.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, so the Master Cleanse
What?
is not a cleanse, and it's not a detox. It's a juice fast. It's a fast.
Fast, right.
And fasting has its place in the world. I mean, we still in our holidays have fasting holidays, right? Most of us don't know why we have them there, but many cultures around the world did fast at certain points and throughout the year.
Jesus did it for 40 days, 40 nights.
Well, yeah, so there you go.
Just saying.
But I mean, they did them for specific reasons, largely around health, right?
Right.
In different seasons, they ate certain things or they didn't eat certain things at certain times. But if you're doing something like a juice fast, 7 days, you're fine. 10 days, you're okay. But when people start doing it for 30 days, and people, I hear it all the time. Oh, they're very proud. I did this thing for like 35, 40 days. And you basically sent your body into ketosis. You started eating yourself.
Right.
And you were on your way to death. You know what I mean? Like you're killing it. Yes, you can do damage to yourself, and you can do these things in the wrong way. Which is why I say I'm one of the people. All fasts and all detoxes, all diets are not good, and they're not good for you. It's important to do them right. It's important to get the knowledge to do them right and to get support if you don't have it, so that you can do these things correctly. Your health is the one thing that you have, and it is vitally important.
Well, again, the number is 323-524-2599. Wow. So let's get a little bit more specific, and let's talk about Marla and my experience on the detox that you created. So I realize now that, and we've done the Master Cleanse.
Yep.
So the beginning of your program seems to be, it has a similar alkalizer, but then you add extra herbs and other things. Explain that.
Supplements.
We add a detox to it. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Like, we add things that help the body detoxify and to cleanse. And we focus, the Restart Detox focuses primarily on the filtering organs, right? So liver, kidney, gallbladder, adrenal glands,
Colon,
entire intestinal tract, right? So we focus on helping the body, and I mean that helping the body do what it needs to do to get itself healthy, right? Like, we give it a certain set of herbs that will help the intestinal tract clear. We give it certain herbs to help the kidneys start to get rid of calcium. The liver and gallbladder get rid of cholesterol, break those things down and excrete them. But yeah, so I mean that's the principal difference, right? Like, it's not just a fast; it is a.
So you add that's by adding the detox.
That's by adding the detox.
There you go.
Wow.
Right.
So it's not just a fast; it then becomes an actual detox.
Right.
So Dave, and then this is what I was saying. Even when we talk about effectiveness, I'll ask you. Let me interview you, Dave.
Well, yeah. Hey, Marla.
So on day 6,
nice to be here.
So on day 6 for you, so far, and we did choose, and one of the things I really enjoyed about really reading, which I always encourage, I've been sharing the website left and right and saying, please read it, because it's important for you to understand what it is that you're trying to accomplish, where you are. It's an errand for what I appreciate as well is that there's options.
Yeah.
So for a person who has a lot, which is what we learned on the lemonade diet before when we were doing the cleanse, the Stanley Burroughs,
the fast,
yeah, that what we learned is that we just didn't have any energy to pretty much do anything. And as active as we are, it was detrimental to us, which is what you said in the car. What are the top 3 things that you're noticing so far on day 6 for you?
I'm a little light on my energy. But I'm used to that because I've done the Master Cleanse. But what I notice is that when I think that I should be out of energy, I'm actually not.
Yeah.
And so if I determine to get something done, I can just get it done. We play tennis. Marla, you lost. And maybe you had
Thanks a lot, Aaron.
You're welcome. Marla.
But you said I didn't.
welcome, Dave.
I didn't. Thank you.
Right.
I didn't
Yeah,
think I
right.
was moving differently. But you said that you had a little.
Yeah, he
quicker
had
step.
little tiny baby steps to the ball. I'm like, who the hell is this? Dave usually moves so deliberate. Matter of fact, let me just share this because this is gonna just spew out of me. It's the detox. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
You are so irritatingly lazy sometimes on the other side of the court that I'll be honest, I have to keep myself emotionally together. And I mean, for example, if I don't hit a ball back to him that lands within this far arm's distance from where he's standing, he doesn't make even an attempt to reach out and stop the ball. And I'm like, and this time he was like a Keebler elf.
Well, what Marla's referring to is when we're warming up. I'm like, who the hell
is that? I tried not to say anything because I really wanted him to go back to sleep.
Well,
Marla, just
Marla,
go to sleep.
For the record, if you want to jump off subject for a minute, off topic, when we're warming up, the
Welcome
reason
to my
is I would assume that your level of tennis, as a great tennis player that you are, you can hit the ball where you want to. So I assume that you're actually being a smartass when you just hit it off the court and try to hit winners in warming up.
Dave,
so
I'm trying to get you more steps. You're welcome.
Yeah, that's why she eats my
I'm
popcorn.
trying to work you out.
We go to the movie, she eats my popcorn
That is
and
funny.
says, "You're welcome." And she eats all the popcorn.
You know what's so funny about that? He's laughing, but it's true. He says, "What are you trying to do, save me?" And I said, "Yes. I can metabolize this stuff. I hate popcorn. Popcorn is not
I
my
used
favorite.
to think that you hated popcorn.
I don't like
And then when I
popcorn.
make popcorn at the house and I put all my gourmet
Because
seasonings in,
I have a
you're
lean.
licking the
Dave,
seasoning.
I do like the salt, but I don't want the corn. I just want the salt. Just put the salt in my
Anyway,
hand.
let's get back to it.
Yeah, back
let's
to
get
it.
back to
I'd
it.
like to jump in and just say, I'm glad you guys are being active. This detox that you're doing is designed to slow you down in a lot of ways, right? So let's remove some of the calories so that your body doesn't have to process that, right? It can use that energy to heal itself.
Oh, we're tripping.
But also turn it down to like 50%. Like really give your body time to rest.
And to be
Okay, so
honest,
now
we
we do.
actually did.
We did.
We actually did. We played tennis once.
And we did one time, but let me just say this as well, which for me, being in fitness with your detox, the first actual consumption of the day past the water is the nut milk and or protein shake.
That's right.
So I played 30 minutes right after that, only one set. And it was a very, and what I will say is, even then, I recognized that my focus was just insane.
Yeah.
I swear, I felt like I was slower, but I was actually much more effective. I really only lost by one break.
But I have also noticed that I'm quicker to actually fall asleep. If I'm resting, I will actually just go to sleep. I was coming home on the ride home today. Next thing you know, I was knocked out.
Yeah.
On the flyway?
On the flyway.
Did you end up in Valencia? Did they just keep
No,
driving you
no.
around on the bus back at the airport?
No, I did not. Here I am. But yeah, I haven't really found anything other than this is the first time that I've actually had so much distilled water.
Yeah.
And I find like I just don't have saliva.
You get a little,
You know what I mean?
dehydrated.
So let's talk about the distilled water that's suggested that you consume
Yes.
during the course of the detox. That was the first time that I ever encountered that. So can you talk about why that's essential for this particular program?
Why I use it and have my clients use it is distilled water doesn't have minerals and other things
Right.
in it, right? It's basically just empty, right? And as such, the body doesn't hold on to it. It just passes straight through the body. But water likes water, so the molecules like each other. So as the distilled water is passing through, other water molecules latch onto it and they get pulled out as well. And we hold certain toxins and water molecules in our body, right? So it's just it's an old wrestler's trick. You want to lose a bunch of weight.
Right.
Really quickly,
Drink a bunch of
slam some distilled water.
Wow.
And ladies, if you're trying to get in that dress, distilled water is your friend.
Take off that waist trainer and drink some distilled
Take
water.
off the waist trainer.
Now, also, because I know to look out for when toxins are leaving the body, some of your joints start to ache. My knees were starting to hurt a little bit. Now, I started losing a lot of weight really quickly.
Yep.
I think on the first 2 days, I was already down 5 pounds.
Yeah.
Haven't had a chance to weigh since then, but my knees are starting to hurt a little bit. So, I'm really looking forward to finishing the cleanse so that all those toxins can come out.
So one of the things is listen to your body. When your knees start to hurt, sit down. Just relax. You know what I mean? Like get off of them and let those toxins clear out. Because that's true. That will happen. Absolutely.
Okay.
And in a way,
what about you, Marla?
Well, and the other thing I was going to say, Dave, is that I noticed on your first 6 days that the imprint where your stomach used to be is now empty. It's terrible. It's you're going to need all new clothes.
What I've also noticed is that, Aaron, that sometimes toxins can spew out the mouth, and it just spews. It's like
I'm saying that's a good thing. Dave, you joked yourself. That's what I was going to say. He said the other day. He says, man, I'm really losing a lot of weight. I said, yeah, look at your something. He said, I can see it in my face. He said, when I went to contemplate something, I went to rub my double chin and it wasn't there.
I was like, man, what's with this guy? It's not right.
So a lot of people do come to this detox. Most people come to these things for various reasons, but a lot of people come because they want to lose some weight. And I'm the first person to say this is not a weight loss program. It is a thing that happens while you're doing this, right? Like
it's a result of
it, right? And it's good that you're losing it. Most of the weight that's lost, first weight that's lost is fecal weight, right? I used to go to an old hydrocolon therapist whose big joke was, "You're full of shit," right? Because
Right.
we are, right? Sounds we're going.
No, okay,
somewhere.
good.
Finish your thought.
But yeah, so you lose fecal weight, and then you lose water weight, and then as the body starts to get healthy, then it starts to dump fat stores. So then you start to lose
Actual
subcutaneous
right.
fat. Yeah.
All right, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about our situation and where we are. What's our current situation on the detox with our guest Aaron Bullock. We'll be right back.
It's time to play the Marla and Dave Love Game. Here are Marla and Dave to explain. It's time for the Marla and Dave Doghouse. Marla has something that should put Dave in the doghouse. Dave has something that should put Marla in the doghouse. You decide who gets a biscuit and who gets busted and ends up in the doghouse.
All right, Marla, you go first this week.
You know what,
You
Dave?
accused me of hogging the whole time last week, so this is your week. Go.
Okay. Here's what I want to say. Actually, my doghouse offense is something that just really happened when we were on our way over here, even though it bothers me all the time.
Is it my offense or your offense?
It's actually your offense against me.
Okay.
This is why I think you should go in the doghouse. When you use someone's anything or borrow someone's something, then I think that you should go out of your way to return it to its original state the way that the owner would prefer it. So when you drive my vehicle, Dave,
Yes.
I don't want my seat at you at 6'2". I don't sit in the back seat to drive the car. So put the seat back where you found it. I don't want to listen to NPR or whatever the hell radio you listen to. Put my shiznit back where you found it. So when I get in the car, I can be back in, and I even name my car Cinnamon. Cinnamon doesn't necessarily like you, but she tolerates you for small errands. So when you get out of her, put her back in the hands of her mother the way that she should be.
Well,
period.
does Cinnamon know that the reason she exists is because of me?
Doesn't matter, Dave. This is not about your ownership here.
I
This
gave
is
you Cinnamon.
whatever, and gave.
Yes.
Yeah, what are you, an Indian giver?
Let me just step back. You're absolutely correct.
So you're gonna just go in the doghouse on your own?
I will apologize.
Are you gonna get in the doghouse?
But I don't know if you realize that Cinnamon also has a feature of just pressing this one little
then you
button.
should press it before you get out the car.
Because I made you the number one for Cinnamon, and you
Does-
just press one, and
Can I
suddenly
see-
all the settings go to you.
Can I see this?
When I press two,
can you show me
all
one?
the settings go to me.
Can you show me one?
Yeah, one.
Okay,
That's
good.
you.
Use that finger to
Yes,
put it back
you.
to hit the one when you
And,
get out the
and
car.
that's easy for me to do. Now I cringe
Don't cringe.
defensively when you talk to me in that tone.
Oh, it's the tone that's bothering
But you're
you.
absolutely correct, and
Oh,
I apologize.
Okay, so are you going to actually eat the
I
bone?
will go to the doghouse.
Oh, okay.
You get the biscuit.
I did it! I'm not going to be an attorney, but that was very impressive. That's not an actual bench argument, but what the hell ever. Anyway, Dave's in the doghouse. Dave's in the
There
Dave's in
you
the
go.
doghouse.
It's been the first time in a long time, but I'll go
Whatever.
in the doghouse. That's the doghouse. We're going to get back to the show.
What's the action?
You'll laugh. You'll learn. You'll learn. You'll get mad.
Shut up!
You'll get happy. But you won't be bored. This is the Marla and Dave radio show on the Universal Broadcast Network.
Okay.
323
524-2599. Ask your own damn questions. That's just
Wow.
what I'm really going to say.
Marla, so-
Shut up, Dave.
This is bringing me into another point. Now, Aaron, you told us, and we read, I read through, and I asked you when you first gave us the boxes of the program. And they come in very nice boxes.
Thank
You know
you.
what I'm saying? They're fitted.
The packaging
everything
is
fits.
awesome.
The packaging
It really
is just top notch. But there are a couple of little slots in there that have two little vials. And those vials are liver aligned
Yes.
and gallbladder aligned. Tell us about that.
So both of those are part of the Chinese 5-element system, and we had this conversation.
Yes.
When I first learned about this, I just thought it was quackery. I thought it was snake oil. Like their concept is that we as human beings hold emotion in various parts of our body. Right there you go. You about to take yours now?
My gallbladder.
Okay.
It's my gallbladder. I'm about to get a hit while you're talking.
Right. So they believe that you hold, for instance, anger in your liver and resentment in your gallbladder. And my teacher at the time, the person that was teaching me about this, told me, and I laughed in their face because it sounds ridiculous. And they said, just try it. And I did. And my wife will attest to the fact that it works. So what happens when we take these supplements, we do find sometimes that we get these releases of emotion, things that are latent and just sitting in us. If you want to ask me the absolute why, I won't be able to give you an absolute answer. I could guess at it.
Yeah.
And Dave, you and I had this conversation.
We did.
about the concept of frequency.
Yeah.
You know, and we know that, for instance, thought has mass, and emotion has mass, right? So they become sort of separate things that live in our bodies that we develop and grow. And so there is a possibility that we can hold on to sort of these frequencies, these sort of errant frequencies, like anger.
Right.
Especially when we do, most of what we do is we get these emotions and then we tend to suppress them.
Right.
Because we don't want to fight about
Shove
it.
them down.
Well, especially living in Los Angeles.
100%.
I mean, you're driving around. You're going to be
Right.
angry.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Right. So what you guys may be experiencing a little bit of is a little more open expression of some of those latent feelings.
I'm finally able to open up. Thank you, Aaron.
You're welcome.
Wow. As if Marla needed that. Let's jump to a phone call right quick. Caller, you're on the air with Marla and Dave and Aaron Bullock. What's your name? Where you calling from? Hey, caller, you there? We hear you. Wow, Marla is still scary. The detox didn't take that intimidation factor out of there. So we're going to have to put them to the back of the queue again. So, and callers, we apologize. We know that you're kind of lined up in there. Sometimes when we're having a discussion, to get the point out, even before we get to you, is very important. So, caller, if you're there,
somebody's
speak
here.
up.
Hello? Hello?
Nope.
Okay. Go ahead.
Please call back.
Yeah. Call us back. 323-524-2599. All right.
Okay. Wow. As if someone can understand that.
323-524-2599. Most everybody knows.
Okay. So, again, Marley, but we were talking about my experiences. What about you?
Well, what's funny is I think one of the things that Aaron probably might want to change about his Restart Detox is ever giving me his actual direct contact. Because last night I was like, Aaron, I have a splitting headache. SOS. Pause. He said, use a warm compress on your head. Or he said, use a warm compress. And I said, and my thought was, doesn't he know that this, if it's warm, that means it had to be wet at some point? I got black girl problems. I'm not about to put a wet compress on my hair. What's wrong with you? I just left the salon. What? So I was like, yeah, okay. He's like, well, if you absolutely have to use something to relieve your headache, use aspirin.
Right.
But I didn't. I drank a grip of water, distilled water, and just forced myself to pray myself to sleep.
So, Aaron, that brings up another question. So, are the headaches based on toxins, or are they based on lack of food, low blood sugar? What is it?
Could be a lot of things. So, the alkalizer that you take, you guys are using maple syrup. One of the reasons for that is to make sure that you have enough sugar in your body, right?
Mm-hmm.
When people are doing the variant of this, they might do raw vegan. They're still getting stuff in there. So it could be that. It could be that your body's just used to having more. A lot of times people who are coffee drinkers tend to get a coffee headache because caffeine is addictive, and it's very addictive, right? So I don't know. Are you a coffee drinker?
No. And I can tell you why, by the way, I got a headache.
Why is that?
I got a headache because I was fine. But yesterday I walked quite a distance, and I didn't realize
too much output.
I didn't realize how hot it was.
Right.
That's what it was. So I could feel the difference by the time I walked back home. By the time
once again, you weren't following
I was walking.
doctor's orders.
I was walking, but it was very leisurely. But it's the temperature. I didn't because
it was warm.
It was warm, and I wasn't even out there I was like, well, if I'm going, this close to home, I might as well walk. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful day, and I love outside, so I screwed myself. It's okay.
People tend to get, sometimes you'll get a headache. Not everyone does, but sometimes you get a headache that doesn't usually last long. Sometimes people feel things like fluish. Feel like they
Achy.
might be. Yeah,
now, I've had the sniffles. That's another thing.
And allergies for me.
Yeah, you can get things that are locked in your body, your intestinal tract in particular, that can get flushed up, and on their way out, you can feel some symptoms.
Hey, I have a question. How come when I sniff, like if I sniff and mucus comes from my nose into my mouth? Seriously, I'm serious. He's always looking. He's like, she's about to clown. It's salty.
Yeah, because
it's supposed to be salty. It's like,
right?
okay. So normally, I guess mine just tastes like alcohol. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't even know.
I can relate to that.
I guess normally mine tastes like wine.
Now,
Who
see,
knew?
I haven't had the experience of, I don't usually get headaches.
Yeah.
So on this, and I am a coffee drinker.
Yeah.
I didn't have any headaches,
Good.
but like I said, just my joints.
How much has the introduction, or how much is the nut milk and protein being added helping with that? Because I'll tell you what I did for myself, which is not necessarily in the recommendation, but it's okay. I took the pure nut milk, which is really any milk, any like almond, cashew.
Correct.
With unsweetened. It's a nut milk.
Organic, yeah.
Yeah, because I know. Don't you even start. Nut milk, right? Everybody's been joking about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
nut milk,
Okay.
yeah.
So clearly you're really slow, because normally you'd be all over that. So yeah. So I drink about 6 ounces of nut milk,
Yes.
and it actually, I don't know if it's psychological, but I'm a little bit. It's a little.
She's
bit
used to
easier.
like 10 ounces of nut milk.
No.
So go ahead. I'm back.
You guys
back.
are not prepared for this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the detox. So yeah, so that's helping me, and I don't know if that's, and only twice. I did it yesterday. I had to do another, and then today.
A lot of calories.
Right.
Yeah.
So it kind of brings me
Takes
to
the
another
edge
level,
off.
right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
Well, good. I mean, so we're right now we are almost at the halfway point, and we're doing just fine.
Good.
So now I was asking Marla, could it be the cayenne pepper that so much that I'm taking?
his eyes
in,
are burning.
My eyes have been burning, but I think that just might be lack of sleep.
It could be lack of sleep.
Because
for sure.
for me, because I sometimes when I'm doing this, I usually kind of really listen to my body and I kind of pay attention.
Or it could just be evil
When
coming
you
out
make
that you didn't know
your-
you had.
Alkalizer, when you put the cayenne
pepper.
in,
Yeah.
are you incidentally rubbing your eyes? 'Cause
No, I might be, because sometimes I could actually get the liquid actually on my fingers sometimes, and I could be rubbing my
I'm
eye.
joking,
So
but
no,
yes.
I actually could be. So I have no
Are you
idea.
dipping your eye?
Are you
But I'm
dipping
not
your
sure
eye
that
in?
it would
Right.
actually be burning all day. I think that just might be fatigue.
Only one orifice that will probably burn.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
burning as well.
Yeah,
so.
This. Let me just tell you, when you're on this, if you go the alkalizer first week route, you will learn to go from wiping to dabbing without a shadow of a doubt. There's a question here in the chat room. Francesca Fowles asks, "Are there any herbal products that keep your skin smooth?"
Coconut oil is fantastic, and technically, I guess that's an herbal organic product. Coconut oil, fantastic. Use that.
Okay, there you go, Francesca. I've heard also. I know this is not. But I'm gonna go ahead. Have you ever heard that there is like some health benefit to like semen?
Yes.
I mean, I've
For
heard
women's skin tone. For women's
heard
it.
skin
Like
tone.
for-
It is. I definitely recommend that.
David.
For women's skin tone. Notice I'm saying for women's skin tone.
I mean, I think Richard Pryor was a fan of the other for
Oh.
his skin tone. So
Oh.
not of the semen.
No, right.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, okay, so Aaron, the one thing I wanted to get to, I cannot let you even escape us without talking past the detox.
Mm-hmm.
And what's cool about you is that we talked about the 3 parts that you focused on in your career path, and really just bringing a healing and a balance to mind, body, and spirit.
Yes.
So outside of the detox, so let's just say, everybody can't really get a hold of the detox or whatever. What would be the top 3 things that you would recommend to a human being who's really looking to bring their life back online, like they've lost themselves physically? And what are 3 suggestions that you would have to inspire them to some kind of a change that would create lasting change?
Biggest thing, start dating yourself. Start that. Like, find time to sit down with yourself, be with yourself, learn to enjoy being with yourself, communicate with yourself, be honest with yourself. That's the biggest thing.
Do you put out for yourself on the first date?
You should definitely put out.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
asking.
Right away. First thing you do. Empathy is a big thing. Most of us, those of us who are empathetic, tend to be empathetic towards other people.
Right.
Figure out how to focus that inward maybe first.
Really?
Absolutely.
Self-empathy. How does that look?
100%. Forgiveness is one piece of it, right? Like,
Okay.
Understanding is another thing, right? So if you do something or you feel like you did something that you deserve to be punished for, and many of us do feel that way oftentimes, let it go. Let it go. Understand it in the same way you would understand it for someone else. If you were talking to somebody, they called you up and they said, listen, I did this thing. I feel miserable about this. And you would probably say, you know what?
You comfort them.
Yeah, let it go. Like, find a way to get comfortable with yourself.
Ooh. Can I go back and redo the Ask Marla and Dave? That was very harsh. I should just say, you know what?
Well, we just
Let
chalk
it
it
go.
up to liver and gallbladder. Liver and gallbladder.
What would be
emptying.
what would be the second step? Three steps to a better you.
3 steps to a better you. Consider, so the caller called in and said he loves, eating, meat, fat, and me too. But be conscious about what you're putting in your body. So give yourself some good stuff as well. But like be thoughtful about what you're putting into your body.
Right.
So that would be the second thing. Laugh a lot. Third thing is laugh a lot. Like
Just enjoy.
Just find some joy in whatever it is that makes you joyful, and be clear about the fact that every one of us is different, and
All
different
right.
things move all of us. So just find some joy.
All right, we'll recap those 3. We have a caller on the line. Caller, go ahead. You're on with Marla and Dave and Aaron Bullock.
Can you stop using this whole government name? Can we just call him Aaron?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Hi, caller.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
We're
doing
fine. How about
great.
yourself?
I'm good. Thanks. I've been calling in to speak to James Van Prague.
Oh, you know what? The only reading we have for you is get on the Restart Detox. That's what's coming through.
No, sorry, it was the wrong line.
Yeah, go ahead. Caller, you're on the Marla and Dave show with Marla, Dave, and Aaron. What's your name? Where you calling from?
I think it's Tony
Ooh.
at this point.
Yeah, it is.
I think Tony's spoofing us.
All right,
Tony,
well,
it's Tony.
sometimes if we have
It's
them on
punking
hold
us.
for a long time and then we open it up, it's my fault.
You're
so I
scaring-
apologize.
You're scaring them, Dave.
Now, I'm letting the calls back up. I apologize. So, Aaron,
Yes.
another question that I have for you is it possible, just as a gift for you honoring us with your presence on the Marla and Dave show,
Yes.
that we can offer a discount if somebody buys today?
So here's the thing. What you guys, right now, there is a Marla Talks discount code that takes $100 off.
Nice.
Since you asked me, and I feel
Put on the spot.
yes.
That'll work. $100 is huge.
So I will do this. I can't do it because I'm not in front of it right now.
Yeah.
But let's say by midnight tonight, if you buy after midnight for the next 24 hours and use the Marla Talks Marla Talks code, you'll get 50% off.
Nice.
Each kid. There you go. Okay, so everybody who
guys-
always says, and by the way, which
That's $140 savings.
Right.
Get on it.
And I will say this, which I've also been saying, we've just passed along the discount that we use. So this is not, about this is not multi-level marketing here.
No.
So I need to make sure I say that because people are like,
This is literally sharing the love.
Exactly. That's what this is. So and we're very, very, very always a share is my big thing. If there's something that is beneficial to me, passing it on to people in my life is super important. Because I think that's transforming. I had a conversation recently with the lady, and that is what she was thanking me for, sharing my information about the school system. So we appreciate you, and like Dave
Thank
said,
you
we're
very
honored
much.
that you came into our lives. You're going to be our friend, and even when I'm off the detox, the next time I get a headache, I don't give a damn. I'm just going to text you in the middle of the night and say, this has nothing to do with the detox, but my hair is already nappy and I have a headache. We'll be right back.
It's time to play the Marla and Dave Love Game. Here are Marla and Dave to explain how it works.
All right, the MaD Love Game is a game created by Marla and me. It is comprised of the 3 categories that we think impact most relationship. That is sex, finance, and communication. It's played by rolling a single die. It has those categories and the MaD logo. The MaD logo is wild when you usually choose sex. Aaron, please do the honors.
All right. So I'm just rolling this.
Just roll it. Is that the MaD logo?
It's the MaD logo.
Okay,
I'm
so
old enough to be blind. So
join the club. You get to choose. Now, usually I don't want to tell you what to do, but you can choose one of the categories: sex, communication, and finance.
Well, we've been doing sex all day, so
There you go.
no.
I'm saying, so you're going to take another turn.
We're gonna go somewhere else.
Oh, ha, 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 ha.
Nice,
No
nice.
red card for you.
Nice.
No red card for you.
Yet.
I'm gonna go straight into communication. That's
All
what
right.
I do. So.
Perfect. All right. So let's get a card here.
And you can't see his hands, but he's just, everything about Aaron is just so smooth. He's like, yeah, I'm just going straight into communication. Like, this was actually a way to get there. Like, communication. Just go to communication.
All right, Aaron. Who talks more on average?
Marla or
Men
Dave?
or women?
Wow. Okay. Men. For sure.
All right, men. All right, so the answers are researched through the Pew Research Center, the PEW Research Center. And the answer here is a recent study published in Scientific American found that word counts are about the same for men and women. So what's cool about the Marla
But
and
half
Dave,
of the men's count is inaudible man grunts.
well, the cool thing about the MaD Love game is that there's another question. So when it's meant to play with a bunch of folks so that you get crazy discussions going. So the further discussion question for this card is, why have women been given the stereotype of talking more than men?
Probably because women talk to women talk to men, and men primarily just talk to each other.
Why don't you guys talk to us? We want you to talk to us.
You know what I think, honestly, and a lot of people are going to disagree with this. I think that men are way more sensitive than women are, and
The judgment. We just can't take
So
the judgment.
silence is masculine.
It's not.
It's like, is it a shield?
It's unfortunately it's a shield. I don't think it's a good thing, but I think it's a true thing. I think we don't want to get rejected by you. We don't want to get our feelings hurt by telling you the truth of what's really going on with us. But we will share that with each other. I mean,
think so.
Men
I
cry
tend
to
to
each
agree.
other all the time.
I tend to agree. Let me have time for one more. Hit that dice one more time, please.
Money.
Money.
He's bouncing around sex like a G. Sweet.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Question: are women, in your opinion, are women willing to settle for less material comfort in exchange for more emotional support?
100%.
Abso-effing-lutely.
Okay, the answer is most women say that they would prefer to have their emotional needs met.
Well, most of those women though weren't here in L.A.
Well, here's the
Let's
thing.
just say that. That's
Further
where the
discussion
that's
for
where the
this
high
card
average-
is this need age specific? In other words, do young women think that, and then when you get older, does the balance shift a little bit?
I think that the actualization of that is probably age specific. I think that younger women, like early 20s, late 20s, they want stuff. If they live in LA, they want stuff.
Yeah.
But earlier than that, they want care, they want support, security. Those things don't go away. But as I think women get older, they want support and security. They want to feel loved and cared for, seen and heard. I think that's all of us, right?
Yeah. Well, the cool thing about Aaron being our guest today is we get actual, what you usually have to pay for advice, but you get actual advice from a real life
That's
coach.
hilarious. He's rewriting our cards
game.
as we sit here. Like,
You can get your copy of the MaD Love Game at www.marlandave.com. Click on the MaD Merch tab, and you get to the store, and you can buy a lot of cool things. The MaD Love Game is one of them.
Aaron, thank you so much for rolling the dice twice.
You are
and
very
skipping
welcome.
sex.
We're getting a
You
lot of
know?
sex in here. So
You-
This is a good, just
we heard
anti-venom.
Dave is going to get his prostate
Examined.
managed. And
Well,
Listen,
I don't
I
know.
am
her skin is going to get good.
I am a
we just skipped that today, Aaron. We skipped sex thanks to you. Anyway, that's the MaD Love Game. Back to the show.
David is a thinker.
I never do anything without thinking about it first.
Marla is a feeler.
I basically wear my personality on my sleeve.
But when Marla and Dave get together, it's like a match dancing with a firecracker. This is the Marla and Dave radio show on the Universal Broadcast Network.
Before you get to the poll question, Aaron, I'm going to ask you this question. I want you to keep it in your mind from somebody in our chat room. so it doesn't disappear. Nicole Harris asks, can you still do the detox if you're taking daily meds? So hold on to that thought. Go ahead.
All right, so it's time for right quick, before we get back to the discussion, it's time for the poll question of the week. Last week's poll question was, which of these past musical icons had the greatest impact in music, in the music business? Your options were hashtag Whitney, hashtag Prince, or hashtag Michael Jackson. So those are three great artists, icons indeed. But which of them had the most impact? Now, a lot of people kind of voted on this one. 65% said Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I voted for Michael Jackson.
Prince came in second with 5% of the vote, or 29% of the vote. Whitney Houston came in with 6% of the vote. Does this seem like lines up about right to you?
I mean, I would want to go with Prince because I was a huge Prince fan.
Me too.
Right, but
keep it real.
Yeah,
he was global
internationally, right?
He was Prince. But what I'm saying is, to me, Michael Jackson shaped an era of the entire music world, not just one genre. He was Michael Jackson. Like, it was just. Yeah, and I don't want to say he was Michael Jackson because he was also Prince and she was also Whitney. I get it.
But are we hating on women? So it seemed like nobody really voted for
I think that,
Whitney.
and you know what else? Can I be honest?
She wasn't in the same category as the two of them.
I'm gonna be honest, and I know that I'm gonna catch some backlash, but oh well. I honestly think as well that because there was so much personal public turmoil. See, Whitney came through at that time where everything with the reality shows and all that. I think that her private life left a mar in minds of certain people that were like, ooh, it's hard for people sometimes to separate your art from. I do.
Michael Jackson had all,
but it wasn't that. It was.
Prince actually died of an opiate overdose.
So did Michael Jackson. Essentially died of drugs. They all died of drugs, but they all three. But that wasn't the point. The point was, Whitney's train wreck was most recent, most evident, and most tragic musically. Before she actually died, she had been diminished as an actual singer.
Well,
she lost all kind of octaves, and I'm just saying. I think that had a lot to do with it.
All right. Well, the next week's poll question is: what grade would you give Hassan Minhaj, who was the host of the White House Correspondents' Dinner this year? What grade would you give him? Either in hashtag A, B, C, D, or F. So, and if you didn't get to see it, jump back on
and
YouTube, check it out, and then vote on the poll. Back to the show.
Can you handle the truth? This is modern American dialogue in a mad world from two unique, fresh, transparent perspectives. This is the Marla and Dave radio show.
I'm going to tell you now what my vote is because I can't hold water. A. I'm saying he got an A. I gave him a flipping A. A all day. A all day. A all day.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. He a lot of things happened this week that I didn't get to because I was so busy.
What one thing, Dave, would you have talked about that you didn't get a chance to talk about?
I would have loved to see the Correspondents' Dinner.
Oh, you mean that you didn't get a chance to actually partake in?
I heard that Trump said, "Why was there a civil war?"
And why was there?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Why? Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And that Andrew Jackson could have stopped it, even though he wasn't even the president at the time.
I just can we not talk about?
He wasn't even alive. He's
Trump,
just that's spooky.
Can we not talk
What's
about?
What's spooky is that
he needs to restart detox.
The fact that he was elected is the spooky part. And I will I will donate a detox to Trump. If he will use it.
And I will double that.
Yeah, only if I get to deliver it.
All right, so right quick. We only have a few minutes left in the show. And Aaron, again, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Honored.
But again, Aaron's generosity has come through again because, again, he said for the next 24 hours.
Starting at midnight. You can get 50% off the Restart Detox if you use the Marla Talks code. Mm-hmm. It's all caps. Marla Talks.
Actually, not case sensitive. They can put it anywhere they want. Yep.
All right. Well, I've been doing all caps because it just made me feel bigger. But you can do it in small case, upper or lower case.
So now I was pushing it this week. I didn't actually realize that you had to use the Marla Talk. So
you don't have
when I was
to,
in Huntsville. So and I think somebody bought it there as well. I have to double check, or you can double check for me. But again, 24 hours from midnight to midnight, starting tonight.
So all day,
50% off.
May 2nd, 2017, from the time you go to bed at midnight and from the time you go to bed again the next day, early morning.
Now,
12.
one of the things that I'm looking forward to is next week, because what's really cool that was really just intriguing to Marla and I, because we used to do the master cleanse, as you know, but you have to kind of phase back into eating. Part of your detox is actually phasing back into, while you're still taking some of the herbs and some of the other processes that you prescribe.
Right, all the detoxing
you start to go
supplements.
back into just healthy eating.
Yes.
Explain that a little bit.
So second week is vegan and gluten-free. Should have a raw component to it. And I think anytime you're eating anyway should be, let's say, 70-30. 30% raw, which basically means salads, right?
Right.
Like things not cooked.
What about fruit?
Yeah, so you can eat some fruit. I would stay away from the starch of your fruits, and I would stay away from the oversweet fruits, and don't eat too much of it.
Okay.
You know, but fruits.
Low sugar index, which to me, I always just try to say berries. What about? I mean, is that
berries fine?
Fair?
Berries are good. So if you are a person that's prone to headaches or a little sensitive, stay away from melons. They have cyanide in them, and you will probably get a headache.
I'm not a melon eater.
Yeah, stay away from it.
You know, because of you, Aaron, by the way, I also have to say this to our audience. Because we had this conversation with Aaron in person, Dave and I have at our house waiting for us when we get back, test your blood type kits.
Awesome.
That we're going to just do like the blood brother thing, just stab. Can I stab you?
No.
Okay.
And let me just say this. So
can I stab you?
Naturopath that I am, and life coach, both. So my care for people is around living your life, kind of how I live mine, right? Like, so enjoy your life. Don't do that. I'm not going to tell you to strict vegetarian or, don't eat this or don't eat that. Don't enjoy it. Like really ride it until the wheels fall off. Just pit stop every now and then, right? But and to that, the blood type thing, a lot of people will do this, eat right for your blood type, and they will be very, very strict to it. It's not what it means, right? What it means is if you're an O type, you probably have a better time processing certain types of food. In my case, for instance, meat. Right?
Me too.
Right.
From what I know, I'm an O.
You know, you're an O. For the A types, you're going to have a better, easier time breaking down grains and vegetables, right? It doesn't mean that you should be a vegetarian. It just means you'll have an easier time with it. And that's really just about your genetics, where larger groups, predominant groups in your genes, in your DNA have shown up.
Well, I think I might be AB because I think I'm genetically predisposed to pizza.
Which, according to the United States, is a vegetable.
Nice.
It's true.
But Aaron,
are you serious?
Yes, I am.
Wow.
Yes, I am.
I gotta get you to answer Nikki's question though. Can you do the detox? 2 questions.
Yeah.
Can you do the detox while taking other prescribed meds? And another one is someone asked me, how does the detox fare with people who are diabetic?
Okay, so the answer to the first question is you can absolutely do the detox when you're on meds. You should know that the meds are going to flush out of your system faster. So a point to note, if a woman is on birth control, be careful because the birth control.
So there's
meds
some
are gonna
detox babies around here.
Could be, if you're not paying attention, be some detox babies around. But more important than anything else, talk to your doctor first.
Right.
Don't ever do anything like this. If you're on meds prescribed by your doctor, talk to your doctor before you do any. Don't stop your meds. Don't taper off your meds. Go talk to your doctor first.
What about diabetic?
Yeah, so we have had plenty of diabetics use the detox. Never have them do the alkalizer. Always you're going to do some form of eating. Usually what we have you do is raw, vegan, and gluten-free for the first week. They're smaller meals, but we want to keep your glucose levels, where they're supposed to be. So yes, the answer is yes. And as always, pay attention to yourself, listen to yourself. Big, huge piece of this. Anyway, it should be a big piece of your life, but pay attention to yourself. And if you feel like something's going on, check it out. But yes, absolutely.
So again, I want to remind you guys, when you log on to www.restartdetox.com, there are 2 versions of the Restart Detox. There's the alkalizer version, and there's the vegan. It's raw vegan?
Raw vegan, gluten-free.
Raw vegan, gluten-free version. So choose which one works for you. But the key is get started doing something, make your life better starting today.
And I'm going to impose on Aaron's generosity one more time.
Yes.
I've been asked to make a group which I'm going to do on Facebook.
Yep.
And I would like to give you that link. And every now and then, if you can just drop in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And because I can't
I would be
always
happy
answer.
to.
I mean, I do what I can do, I'm certainly not a naturopath, but just with my experience. So we'll definitely do that. We thank you for coming. How can people
Indeed.
find you?
Very much. So people can find me at restartdetox.com. If you want to email me, you can email me at one of two places, info@restartdetox.com or info@mindbodygroup.com.
And we'll have all that information on the website, www.marlandave.com. We're Marla and Dave.
And as always, we're happy that you guys stopped through. Go ahead, Dave. Go ahead. Close us out.
Oh, navigating the mad world of relationships.
From inside of ours, we'll see you next week with our special guest, Aaron Lindsay.